record. Okay.
You're recording.
And I always have trouble finding the live transcript one. Sorry, one sec. Where is it? Okay, I might just have to go.
Are you looking for the live transcript?
Yeah. This is the first time we've done it on my Zoom account, so it's it's not giving me the option, unfortunately. I'm just gonna start it. We'll go from there, see if maybe the option pops up once I start. I know that was a brief little bit of a delve, but we have a lot to get through with you today. As you can see, our lovely co-host Kaya is already on video with us today. She's going to run us through a couple new things happening on our social media.
Thanks so much, Maddie. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year's to everyone, 2022. We've got some exciting conversation going on over in our Facebook group. I'm going to post the link in the chat right now. If you want to come join the conversation, we're talking all about what is in our teacher bag. I actually didn't know I had a teacher bag until people started talking about it. My teacher bag was just my little purse and it had like my agenda in it. But we're talking about like, what is that one item that you had to have in your teacher bag? You would not leave, you would not go into the classroom without this item. Mine for me was lip balm. My lips get so chapped. I always have lip balm within like 2 inches of me. Lip balm was my thing. A lot of people are saying Tylenol was their must have for their teacher bag, and Kleenex. Hopefully it's new Kleenex and not used Kleenex from the kids. Maddie, what was in your teacher bag? What's like the must have?
The first thing that came to my mind is actually more of like a classroom item, and I would always have an extra book on hand. Something about just bringing in a new book that is not on the shelves every day always was able to get that circle time attention that is sometimes hard to get.
I love that. A lot of people are saying like fidget toys, hand sanitizer. That's also number one on our Facebook group too. Seems like teachers are the most prepared people on earth, really. I'll post a link to our Facebook group again. Tell us what you would like to have in your teacher bag. What is that one must-have item? And I'm here for support if you need me.
Thanks so much, Kaya. Okay, to get started. So first things first, if you are new here, important to just announce, we are not the faces of legal or financial advice. So the goal for you today is to leave with some awesome tips and tricks and strategies for you to take into your classroom. But if you are seeking to make any big changes at your center, just make sure you're consulting the right people, a legal or financial advisor to help you with those big decisions. And we're going to go ahead and give a quick listen to our land acknowledgement now.
Hi Mama acknowledges that our main headquarters is situated in Toronto, Ontario, on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. Toronto itself is a word that originates from the Mohawk word takaranto, meaning the place in the water where the trees are standing. As participants and guests in today's webinar, we are coming together from many different places around the world. We encourage you to learn about and acknowledge the land from which you participate.
Andy, listen to our diversity and inclusion statement.
Hi Mama is committed to fostering an inclusive and welcoming environment for our employees, customers, and community. Hi Mama welcomes and celebrates individuals of all backgrounds, orientations, and identities. Our Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging Committee aims to ensure we provide a safe environment for everyone to thrive while bringing their authentic selves to work. Our mission is to promote an inclusive workspace for all employees through education, discussion, and celebration of our differences. Embracing these differences while coming together with a common purpose is what makes our team extra special.
Okay, and a few housekeeping pieces before we get started. This session is recorded, so if anything comes up, do not worry. You will receive a recording of the session by early next week. If you do require closed captions, there's a CC tab on your Zoom, so you can enable the closed captions on your Zoom for today's webinar. Certificates. For everyone that is attending our live session today, you will receive a certificate of participation, and we will get those out to you again by early next week. And lastly, if you're having any issues at all with your Zoom, definitely go ahead and contact support.zoom.us. They will be able to support you with any Zoom related inquiries that you have. A little bit about Hi Mama. If you are new here, welcome. We're so excited to have you. If you don't know much about Hi Mama, we are a childcare management software. So we help you with your attendance, your billing, your documentation, staff management, assessments, everything you might need to help simplify your day in a very, very busy environment. If you'd like to learn more, Kaya can post a link in the chat to bring you to our website so you can learn more about what Hi Mama has to offer. And lastly, if you do sign up with Hi Mama, or maybe you are already a Hi Mama customer, I promise you will have world-class support. I used to be on our customer support team as well, and I promise you it is a wonderful group of people over there. If you also didn't know, we do have weekly podcasts available to help you further your learning and know what's going on in the world of early learning today. We have tons of free activities available to help you in your classroom. We also have articles that we release. And if you didn't know, we're also a B certified company. So what that means is as we work with you, we're also making a positive impact and contribution in the early childhood education space. And last big announcement, if you haven't heard yet, we are hosting our second Early Learning Summit. It is coming up really quick, January 14th and 15th. We have an amazing lineup of speakers ready. So I highly recommend to secure your spot now. It is on, again, January 14th and 15th. It is a free early learning conference. I will be there, Kaya will be there, and we certainly hope to see all of you there as well. And lastly, my name is Maddie. I am your host of the Early Learning Webinars. I am a customer advocacy specialist here at Hi Mama and also one of the early childhood educators. And then my lovely co-host Kaya is here as well. Kaya, did you have any other fun facts you wanted to share with us today?
No fun facts, but someone just posted in our Facebook group something they have in their teacher bag that they always have with them is their sanity. And I really loved that. So make sure you pack your patience and pack your sanities, people, especially going into 2022. Loved it.
That's so good. Thanks so much, Kaya. Okay, finally, my long spiel is done. I can't wait to introduce you. If you haven't seen Chanie on our webinars before, Chanie, come on, turn on your video, your audio. Welcome. Thanks so much for being here with us today, Chanie. Chanie is
for
from
having me again.
Schools of Excellence. Of course, our pleasure. Chanie, do you have any fun facts you want to share with us about what's going on in your world today?
It is a beautiful 75 degrees here. I know a lot of people took out snow pants, I saw in the comments, but I had a wonderful walk in sunny Florida.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. It is freezing here today, so quite jealous of that. Well, Chanie, as our guest of honor today, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and I am going to let you take it away from here. Thanks so much.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's training session. So for those of you that are new to watching me present, I don't use slides. I like to talk directly to the audience. So I'd love to kick off and get started with sharing in the comment section your role in your childcare center, so I can know, are we talking to a lot of teachers? Are we talking to a lot of directors, owners? Let me know in the comments your role in the organization. Okay, amazing. So we have a very big mixed bag of people, which is great. Always love that. So today's topic is fostering a team culture within your organization. And culture is something that is used a little bit ad nauseum to explain a lot of different key concepts. And what I'm going to talk about today is really understanding how everyone impacts the culture of an organization, and especially a school. And we're going to talk about how you specifically contribute to the positivity, to the collaboration, to the creativity and innovation that happens within your school culture. The first step when we're building what culture is understanding what its definition. The school culture is an effect of the leader's daily behaviors, actions, and routines. So I'm going to say that again. The school culture is an effect of the leader's daily behaviors, actions, and routines. That is at a high level. Then you bring that inside the classroom. The classroom culture is an effect of the teacher's daily behaviors, actions, and routines. When a teacher decides to eat breakfast that morning, that is culture. That is a teacher that is choosing to fuel her body so that she has energy and a better nervous system response to all the stressors that are going to happen throughout the day. When a teacher pauses to drink water and hydrate, she makes sure that her brain isn't dehydrated when she needs to make important decisions throughout the day. She models to the children, I also take care of myself. I drink water. You don't need to go all the time. I've said this on every webinar that I've done, on every podcast episode. You are not a machine. You are human. Let's put that in the comments so that you remember that. You are not a machine. You are human, right? And machines can go until we turn the switch off, right? And sometimes they need charging, but you are human. Humans have limitations. Humans have nervous system responses. Humans are responding to the stressors of the world and of the children around them. Children are moving targets. They are not robots. They are moving targets. They're people. And so we need to operate in our classrooms and our cultures with the understanding that we're dealing with people, not robots. And you don't get to manipulate and control how many minutes it takes little Sarah to use the toilet today. Sometimes it takes her 2 minutes. Sometimes it takes 10. And you're going to go outside late that day, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're a bad teacher. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough if you didn't follow the schedule exactly. You're not in control. You don't get to decide the children's bladder functions. You don't get to decide if Max accidentally throws a block. You don't make those decisions. You create an environment. You create boundaries. You set standards. And you learn how to take care of yourself. You eat breakfast. You eat lunch. You drink water. You use the facilities. You do meditation, take vacations, take time off, walk, exercise, hobbies, things that fuel your soul, so that you're not giving to the kids from a place of consistent obligation, but you can actually show up from a place of generosity. What's happened in our cultures is we have become dependent on other people. And I'll explain to you what I mean, not the good kind of dependency where you ask for help. let's start in the frame of the teacher-child relationship, okay? Many teachers are dependent on the kids in order for them to feel like they're doing a good job. I was a director for many years, I was a teacher for many years, and now I coach leaders. Here's a comment that I hear at least 3 times a week. If only this kid wasn't in my classroom would be fine. If only this kid didn't do this, then my circle time would be smooth. If only this didn't happen, then this would be fine. Let me know in the comments if you have said that at least once in your lifetime as a teacher, or if you say it often. I know when I was a young teacher, I said that a lot. I really believed that if this one kid wasn't there, I'd be like a rock star. What that means is we are dependent on the kids to find our own self-worth. We are dependent on the children to keep reminding us, am I doing a good job? Am I a good person? Am I a good teacher? Am I going to get a gold star? Am I good enough? We don't recognize our own grounded confidence and ability to show up for the kids. I'm going to read to you a couple of statements, and I want you to write if that statement feels true for you. Now, if you're operating at the director level or the owner, then I want you to look at the lens of this statement from that lens. Okay, so I'm going to read it from the lens of teacher to child, but as a director, I want you to look at the statement from the lens of the director to the teacher. Okay, so I'm going to read a couple of statements. Again, just listen to it, process it. Do you need the children to be in a good mood in order for you to feel like you're doing a good job? I'll explain the context from a director. Do you need all the teachers to be happy all the time in order for you to feel like you're a good enough director? Which means if one teacher is unhappy that day, or someone is unhappy with a rule that you made, do you now feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough, that person isn't happy? Oof. A lot of yes and no's, right? Because there's no absolutes, right? There's so much nuance. All right, here's another one. Do we need the children to be well behaved in order for us to feel like we're doing a good job? I'll give you some examples. Do you need all the kids to be sitting perfectly at circle time in order for you to feel like you're doing a good job as a teacher? Do you need all the kids to walk in a straight line in order for you to feel like you're a good teacher? Do you need all the kids to never argue and fight with one another in order for you to feel like you're a good teacher? Now let's go from the leadership level. Do you need the staff to always get along in order for you to feel like you're a good enough leader? Meaning, when there's any kind of conflict, you want to shut it down right away. Oh, they don't get along. Okay, let me go quickly take care of that. Oh, they had a disagreement. Let me go quickly take care of that right away. Right? Again, there's sometimes, right? There's that thought may have crossed my mind. Do we need the children to accept the boundary without a fuss in order for us to uphold the boundary? Okay, so here's what this means, right? You create a boundary where you tell the child, it's not okay, or it's Sam's turn right now, you need to sit down. or you need to wait your turn or whatever it is, right? And Sam starts crying, or Stan gets upset, or he starts throwing a tantrum. And then it's challenging for you to uphold the boundary because you feel bad, right? The kid's crying. It's normal to feel bad, right? You're human. The question is, does it make you change your mind, right? Does it bring you to, okay, let me go see if I can find another ball because I want to make sure there's 2 balls, right? Or, oh, it's okay, fine, let him just do it, right? It's hard for you to kind of feel that pain and frustration. On the director level, this is very, very, this happens often, right? Where we put a boundary, we tell the teacher, you're not going to be able to take off this day. We're already, short-staffed and you're not going to be able to take off. And now the teacher's really frustrated that she can't take off. And she might start tantruming in a way that adults tantrum, start threatening, start getting upset. You never let me go. This is so unfair. This is the first time I'm asking. Everyone else takes off all the time, whatever it is they want to share. And then you feel bad. And then you're like, okay, fine. You know what? I'll let you, or whatever it is, right? These things are nuanced. I want you to really think about it. Do we need the children to be respectful to us in order for us to be respectful to them? Right? So when the child says something disrespectful or maybe doesn't respond in that way, it's challenging for us to respond back with respect. And respect manifests itself in very different ways, right? It could be in the moment. It's easy for you to be respectful. But maybe after, when you're telling over the story, you're telling it over in not such a respectful way, right? Maybe you're not speaking with as much dignity. Again, we're human. All of these things are very normal parts of just human development, understanding how we show up, understanding our triggers, understanding, well, why is that bothering me? Why is that hard for me? Depending on the age, right? That's another component. Thanks for bringing that up, right? Maybe for the little kids, it's easy, but when you have to practice that boundary with a grown-up, it's a little bit harder, right? Do we need our staff to show us appreciation in order for us to continue to feel good about giving to them? This could be challenging, right? Especially if you're the owner and the director. Many times directors will give Christmas bonuses or do special things. And a lot of teachers do come forward and show gratitude and say thank you, but it's rare that every single teacher comes forward to says thank you. And for anything, like let's say that whatever, it's not necessarily a bonus, like whatever it is, right? And it can sometimes be hard, like, oh, I worked so hard to get that for them. Or, I drove out in the cold to go get them, extra dinner. And maybe only 1 or 2 people thank you, or whatever it is. It's hard. It sits on our heart like, oh, I worked really hard and only 1 person said thank you. And what's important to remember when it comes to building culture is, are we giving from a place to seek approval and feel like we're enough? Or are we giving from a true place of generosity, that whether or not the person says thank you, we are grateful that we were able to show up? Of course, we all want to be appreciated. Basic human needs are to be seen and heard and validated. Of course. It is 100% normal to be frustrated that you didn't get the thank you that you wanted. The difference is, right, the caveat where you might need to do some of the work is the fact that I didn't get a thank you going to hinder my ability to do something again, right? Am I not giving Christmas bonuses next year because only 3 people said thank you, right? That's where the difference is, okay? So let's go into understanding how our behavior, how we show up, how that affects the culture of the organization and the team infrastructure. what we need to remember is every single person has a different story and upbringing and cultural upbringing. And so the way that how this person responds to conflict and the way that this person responds is very, very different. I was coaching a classroom of teachers where one teacher is very much connected with the clock. She's always looking at, okay, it's 11 o'clock, we got to go outside. It's 12 o'clock, we got to give the kids lunch. We got to do this, we got it right. Every minute on the clock we have to do right now. And the other teachers are a little bit more fluid with like, okay, we'll go out at 11:05. It's okay if, lunch is a few minutes earlier or whatever it is, right? There's a little bit more fluidity. And putting those two people in a room really impacts the culture and the environment of the classroom, because the children feel the energy. They feel it. So is this a classroom that is rushed, or is this a classroom that is calm and is led, with the leaders of the classroom, the teachers? But the children, if they have a different particular need in this moment, it's okay and it's addressed. Navigating that difference, navigating that conflict of difference of opinion when it comes to time, difference of perspective of how we should teach, difference of how this is happening, how people work together. Culture is so much about how do you navigate conflict. When people ask me, what's the number one thing that impacts school cultures? I always give the exact same answer. It is the leader's ability to have difficult conversations. The more the school leans in to having those conversations, to not pushing away conflict, to letting go of people pleasing, the better the culture is. I'll explain what that means. There is a big difference between a nice culture and a kind culture. A nice culture is led from a place of people pleasing. I want to be nice. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to make anyone feel bad. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. A kind culture is led from a place of bravery and courageousness. A kind culture is, I care about you enough to have this conversation. A kind culture is where the person is not worried about people pleasing. The person is thinking about, how do I bring up this really difficult scenario in a way that honors the other person and I can still speak with dignity and respect. A kind culture is where the person says, not, oh, it's not a big deal, it's okay. No, a kind culture is where the person says, I really want to talk to you about breaks. I know that the day is really hard. And when it's our break time, we each really want an extra couple of minutes because the day's exhausting. What's challenging for me is I feel like when you come back from the break, very often you come back 5 minutes late. And I know that it doesn't feel like a lot, it's only a couple of minutes, but to me it's challenging because I'm in that classroom and I'm really waiting for my turn to get my break. And when you come in 5 minutes late, that cuts into 5 minutes of my time. So I want to talk about how we can ensure that you come back from the break on time so I can also get my full 20-minute or 30-minute break. That is kindness. Niceness is, oh, it's fine, it's not a big deal. I don't want to start up with her. I don't want to deal with it. It is what it is. She's so selfish. She just does whatever she wants and yada, yada, yada. And I'm just going to get through the year. And then I'm going to tell the director I never want to work with her again because she's so selfish and she always comes back 5 minutes late. That doesn't sound very nice to me. Kindness is having that difficult conversation. Kindness is having that difficult conversation, right? The nice culture is, I don't want to cause a scene. No, the nice culture is you're afraid to have the conversation because maybe I'm not worthy of having those extra 5 minutes. Maybe I shouldn't ask for that, or maybe I'm going to be shot down. When all stakeholders in the organization, owner, director, assistant director, teachers, assistant teachers, all stakeholders, when they all operate from a place of enoughness, when they all operate from a place of, when I feel myself and I have the right boundaries and I know how to take care of myself, then I can give like I've never given before. I can give with so much generosity and openness. Childcare educators and leaders are from the most giving humans on the planet. We spend our days nurturing the hearts and minds of young children, which is physically and mentally exhausting. And we come in and day out because we care about the children, which means your capacity for love, for caring, for giving, for nurturing is tremendous. It's unlimited of how much is really inside of you to give. And we have to remember what I started the session with. You're not a machine, which means you don't have unlimited energy to give to the children. You don't have unlimited capacity and time because you're human. You need to sleep. You need to eat. You need to take a shower. You need to take a break. You need to take a walk. And so in kind, courageous cultures and cultures of contribution where people give back, it's actually a place where people really know how to take care of themselves. In the last webinar that I did a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was in December or November, I introduced this concept of the bridge. And the bridge is an acronym for the connection that happens, the connection point of every interaction that goes on in a school. When a teacher interacts with a child, there's an interaction moment. When a teacher interacts with a teacher, there's an interaction moment there. When an owner talks to the director, there's a moment. And there are millions of these little moments throughout the day, right? Every minute, there's multiple little moments. In each of those moments, you have a choice. Not the supervisor, not the director, not the decision maker, every person, you who's watching this webinar, you have a choice. It doesn't matter your title or how much money you make or your power or authority or influence in the school. Every single person is responsible for the culture that happens in the organization. So in each of those moments, you have a choice. I'm going to walk you through what those 6 skills are with the bridge. The bridge is an acronym. B is for boundaries. R is for relational intelligence. I is for individual advocacy. D is for discernment. G is for generosity. And E is for emotional regulation. In each of those interactions, you're going to practice one of those skills or multiple of those skills. You can have the best tactics in the world of how to transition kids from one place to the next. But in those moments of the transition, in those moments of when the coworker comes back 5 minutes late, in those moments of when the chef or the cook came late, so now the lunch is off schedule, in those moments, here's what you got. These 6 things. And these 6 things are determined by your reflexes, the practice that you have around this 6 things. You can't start learning how to practice boundaries in the moment with the teacher, right? The script that I gave you of how the teacher communicates to the other teacher when she walks in 5 minutes late, that script isn't designed in that moment. That script is practiced many, many times before that moment happens. You practice boundaries all the time. And then in these high stake moments, what are your reflexes going to show? Right? What are your reflexes going to show? Why do we take driving lessons? Why do we take swimming lessons? So that when you're in the pool and something happens, you're down to your reflexes. You've got seconds to respond. When you're driving and you see something in front of you or someone cuts out, you've got reflexes. Do you slam on the brakes? Do you turn to the side? Well, it depends. Is there a barrier there? Right? That's why you're constantly looking at your mirrors when you're driving. You're down to your reflexes. When the teacher walks in 5 minutes late, you're down to your reflexes. How are you going to respond? When the parent walks in and starts shouting at you in front of other people, you're down to your reflexes. How are you going to respond? How are you going to respond? So driving, you have a lot of practice, right? You get in the car every day, back and forth. You have a lot of this practice. In the classroom and in school, you think you have a lot of practice because every day you're talking to everyone. But every day you're repeating the same old behaviors and you're perpetuating the same cycle again and again. I'm hosting an event in Florida on March 1st and 2nd. It's called the Summit of Excellence. And the theme of the event is conflict and kindness. And one of the things I'm going to be talking about a lot is what do we need as leaders to model, train, and coach our children so that they have less to unlearn than we do. And that's what this training is all about here. Think about how much you have to unlearn, right? When you're in that moment, what is your learned behavior? Don't rock the boat. Don't make a scene. That's what you were taught for decades. Avoid conflict, avoid conflict, avoid conflict. And now you're trying to teach yourself, no, when there's a conflict, it's an opportunity to engage, to interact, to practice boundaries, to practice generosity, to practice emotional regulation. You've got to unlearn all of those old behaviors and start practicing new ones. I'm going to reshare what the B.R.I.G.E stands for. I've seen the comments a lot of people are asking. And the B.R.I.G.E is boundaries, relational intelligence, individual advocacy, discernment, generosity, and emotional regulation. One of the hardest things that I find when it comes to culture and really building those relationships and connection is practicing those boundaries. Practicing the boundaries around, this is the time that you need to be in the classroom. Practicing the boundaries around, this is when my office door is closed. This is when I'm available for you to come in and have a conversation. And it's not okay to just open my door and peek in and ask me if I have a moment. I don't have a moment. When my door is closed, it is because I don't have a moment. And you need to respect the boundary of the door, that when it's closed, you don't come in. When it's open, I welcome you. What happens is when it comes to boundaries is we don't want to hurt anyone, right? We lead from a place of, but I want to be supportive, but I want everyone to like me, but I want to be available for my people. The director who is always available isn't truly listening. You cannot be always available and really be listening intently. You just can't. Because you're one person. You're not a machine. The other challenge when it comes to boundaries and building culture is we forget that there are time boundaries. You don't have unlimited time. You have to decide how you're going to use your time. And what happens is culture becomes an afterthought. Breakfast is an afterthought. Drinking water is an afterthought. Hobbies and taking care of myself is an afterthought. When I have time, I'll take care of myself. When I have time, I'll practice, learning these boundaries. When I have time, I'll practice what does it mean to have individual advocacy and know how to ask for help, know how to ask for what I need. When I have time, I'll practice emotional regulation. Maybe I'll go to therapy to learn how to, regulate my nervous system. One day, when I have time. Does anyone here believe that they have unlimited money? That there's unlimited amounts of money for you to spend? Anyone on this webinar doesn't have that belief system, right? We all operate from very tight budgets. And yet somehow we believe we have unlimited amounts of time, right? I'm going to do this and then I'll catch up on that on the weekend. I'm going to do this and then I'll do this at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to do all of these things and then I can also do all of this during the Christmas break. And then I'll also do all of these things during New Year's. And then I'll also do this over here. Let me tell you a little secret about the difference between time and money. Money is actually something you can save. Did you know that you could take money every month and put it into a bank account that increases compounded interest over many years? And in 30 years from now, when you open it up, there'll be more money in there than you did when you first put it in. It's called an investment portfolio. There's no such thing as a time bank. You can't take time and put it in a bank and say, on Saturday, I'm going to use that time. Doesn't exist. You can't do it. You can't do it. And yet we overcommit. Don't wish it. It doesn't exist. You don't want it. You don't want to wish it. You don't want to wish that your time will be available for you one day. Wish that you should learn the strategies of how to be in the moment. Wish that you should learn how to be happy with what you have right now and not keep saying one day, right? If we're already wishing, let's wish for things that we really want. I want to learn how to practice boundaries. I want to learn how to use these skills. Yeah, you can't catch up on sleep either. So how do we bring this all together? Right? There's so many different concepts around culture. You hear so many different things. I'm not here to share more things for you to do. No one on this call is bored and needs stuff to fill their day. No one. Everyone is begging for someone to take something off their plate. So what do we want? What do we wish for? We want space. We want slowness. We want calmness. We want to feel for a moment, I don't need to be anywhere. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to respond to anyone. I don't need to make any decisions. I can just be right where I am right now. Let me know in the comments if you wish for that. Just a couple of moments a day where you don't have to do anything. You don't have to make any decisions. Nobody needs you. You're not obligated to be anywhere. This, my friends, is what it means to build a culture of excellence. Excellence is created in the pause. Excellence is created in the white space, in the space, right? Think about all the analogies, right? When is muscle created? It's not created in the workout. It's created in the rest, right? That's why you need rest time between workouts. Olympians and champions are not created on the ring, are not created on the field. They're created in the practice, in the white space, over there, behind the scenes. They're recognized in the ring. They're recognized on the field of play. Your school and who you are as a leader, you come to fruition, you get recognized for it when you're in that hard moment and you know what to say. You don't learn what to say in that moment. Everyone has such great ideas, right? Meditation, yoga, prayer, eating. Every single one of these are correct, right? There's no wrong answer for how to create space. We don't need more ideas for how to be calm. Go onto Google and write, how do I create more centeredness? You'll get a whole list of things: walking, exercising, meditation, yoga. There's no shortage of ideas. I'm not here to give you tactics. You can find them for free. We know all the things we have to do. Here's what I know of the over 700 people that are here. We struggle with practicing it. We struggle with actually doing it. We know what we're supposed to do. I don't need to tell you to listen to music. You didn't come to a training webinar for me to teach you that you have to go listen to music or meditation or do yoga. Come on. Where's the challenge? We don't feel like we can. It feels unattainable. We don't feel like we could create the space in our calendars, right? We don't feel like, we look at, we're like, oh, I really want to meditate, but where? Where's the space? I need to hire, I need to onboard, I'm short staffed, I gotta get on the floor, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, there's a big diaper, I have to go here, I have to go, the cook came late, the toilet overflowed, right? Where am I gonna do it? That's what you're feeling. And so what I'm here to tell you is, it's a practice. It's a practice. And here's what else I'm going to tell you that you're not going to find on Google. You are never going to be perfect at this. You are never going to be perfect at relaxing, at calming, at making space, at slowing down, because it's a practice, because you're a human, because life is real. Because I had a lot of things planned this week, and it's Thursday, and today's the first day that I'm actually knocking some things off my list. Because on Monday, my daughter had fever, and on Tuesday, my other daughter had fever, and my other daughter had lice. And then she got an allergic reaction from the treatment of the lice. And I was busy doing all of that this week. Because life is going to happen. And then we make reminders again, right? This is why you come to webinars and trainings. Regrounding, recenterness, re-inspiration. Okay. All the tricks and tools that I already know how to do for free. Now, I'm going to practice it today. I'm not going to say, okay, from now on, every day I'm meditating. Please don't leave today's webinar with that goal. Today, after work, I will stay in my car for 10 more minutes, and I will open up Google and find a free 10-minute meditation. And then I will walk into my house. That's what I will do today. Tomorrow will be tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow, before I walk into the chaos of the center, I will stay in my car for 5 minutes and do a meditation and eat my protein bar and drink my smoothie or, drink my water. And then I will walk in. We make these overarching goals and commitments, these grandiose things, right? We all want these extraordinary firework days. Every day needs to be amazing, extraordinary, blah. But when life is crazy, here's a little secret. You know what you really want? You want the ordinary moments. You want the simple. I just want to sit and lay in bed with my little boy for 5 more minutes, and then I'll go to work. You want the ordinary moments. You want to be able to sit and watch the soccer game without your phone pinging, dinging, and jinging. You want the ordinary moments. You want to be able to sit down and have dinner with your husband without getting paged to the building. So we want these extraordinary lives of like, we got to hit this goal and we need expansion and we need another center and we need to do this and we need to do this. But what do you want? Really, what do you want? Just peace, just simple, just an ordinary moment, just to sit on the floor and play with the blocks with the kids without being needed to make these 4,000 big decisions on, floor plans. I see the ordinary moments are resonating with so many of you, which is great because we actually have a podcast series that starts next week on the Schools of Excellence podcast, and it's called Ordinary Moments, Create Extraordinary Results. And it's a special series for school leaders like you on how to create ordinary moments in your life and how those ordinary moments really create extraordinary lives. So if you want to check out, you could go to the podcast, subscribe, and you could definitely check that out. The final thing about culture is recognizing the seasons of life that you're in. Many times I talk to young directors or young teachers, and I'm like, don't try to be 40 before you're 40. Don't try to be 50 before you're 50. There's a season in life. And when you're young and you're in your 20s, that's a time that you're doing a lot of trial and error and learning and making a lot of mistakes and figuring things out and making really stupid decisions. And 30, you're practicing a little bit more emotional maturity. Many people are getting married, starting families, settling down a little bit, right through their 40s. But what's important to remember is your school culture also goes through seasons. Some seasons are a little bit challenging. You guys are navigating through a lot of junk, a lot of heavy conversations. And some seasons are just this tranquility of peace and serenity, and everyone's getting along with one another, and it's just, so beautiful. And then again, you have a season of a little bit more challenge. A new teacher comes in, someone leaves, someone moves out of town, someone has a baby and goes on maternity leave, and someone new comes in. When you're a leader and you're building culture, it's recognizing the seasons of life that will always happen, right? Life goes in circles and seasons. Sometimes it's summer, fall, winter, spring. Sometimes you're building culture, sometimes you're maintaining it. There's different seasons. Stop making every season be every single thing, right? Recognize that. And so as we wrap up here, I want you to ask yourself, are you enough just the way you are right now? Do you feel like you're enough, that you do enough, that you show up enough, that you are enough as a childcare educator? Right? So some of you are saying no, to be honest, right? You don't feel like you're enough right now. Some of you wish that you felt like you were enough. Some of you do feel like you're enough, but then you're still pushing yourself constantly. to bare bone exhaustion. The sanctity of being an early childhood educator and being entrusted with the responsibility of taking care of young children. Please don't pass down the hustle, the work, the not enoughness to our children. We have to unlearn all of this. We have to learn that we are enough. We have to learn that we're not work. We have to learn that there's more to life than just working, hustling. We have to remember to live. We have to remember to slow down. We have to remember to pause. Do it for the kids. Practice this so that you are a role model for your child, so that the children, the next generation of leaders, grow up with this is normal. It's normal to rest. It's normal to take a pause. I'm not a machine. What world would we have if our children were raised with those leaders? And this is why we have to do the work that we do and dig deep into ourselves and pause and take space and remember that the work never ends and the emails will be there on Monday. It's a practice. Some Fridays you're going to be great. You'll turn off and you won't come back and look at it till Monday. And some Fridays you won't. You'll check the email. It's okay. Practice. Practice the culture that you want to see. Practice the emotional maturity. Practice being the future version of yourself. Practice stepping up into the leader that you were born to be. And recognize that everything that you need is inside of you. And through practice, the right community and support, you'll unshackle that. You will really unshackle that. So I want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you for your attention. I hope that you subscribe to our podcast to listen to the ordinary moments. We put a lot of time into really asking the leaders these great questions around creating these beautiful moments. It's a behind the scenes of the messiness of the day-to-day. And we also have a great worksheet for you guys as well. It's the difference between a culture of blame versus a culture of accountability. So you could definitely check that out as well. And I want to thank Kia and Maddie for inviting me here again, for giving me the opportunity to consistently come and share what I'm really passionate about when it comes to building schools of excellence. So thank you.
Chanie, thank you so, so much. That was so fabulous, so insightful, and also just so calming and peaceful. I think that is the webinar we all needed as we head into 2022 with so much going on. There are comments in the chat telling you to just not stop, just keep going.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love
Love to
so
everyone.
much for that. And for being here with us today. We very much appreciate it. Chanie, quickly before I do let you go, we did have a question from the audience that I would love to hear your advice on. One of our guests today, they asked us, if you're having one of those days where it feels like everything is just going wrong, which those days can happen for all of us.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips on how to kind of try and calm ourselves down so that we can handle that conflict the way that we want to with intention instead of reaction?
Yeah, this is so great. So one thing that I would recommend is really creating what your releasing stressors are and what your, oh, I just lost you. Where'd you just go? Oh, there you are. Okay, I lost you for a second, sorry. What I would create is really kind of two baskets, a release stressor basket and a calming basket. And it doesn't have to be an actual basket. It's more about strategies that are in those two arsenals, right? So calming strategies are typically meditation, prayer, yoga, listening to music, right? So when you're trying to bring your mind into a calming state, these are things that you do to intake into your soul, right? Let me bring meditation and calmness and breathing. Then there is releasing stressors, right? So if you had a particularly difficult conversation, some people need to release the stress first before they invite calmness. So releasing strategies could be exercise, walking, running, going around the building, getting up, just taking a walk around, like exercise and physically moving really releases stress. And then you can invite calmness. So when you're in those moments, which can happen very often, ask yourself, is this a moment that I want to invite calmness, or this is a moment that I need to release stress? And there's also a great book to read. It's called Burnout: The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle. This book is by two doctors, their sisters, Amelia and Emily Nagasaki. Fantastic book about understanding the stressors and the calmness and how to really bring that into your life. So also recommend this book if anyone's interested. Hopefully that's helpful.
Amazing. Absolutely, Chanie. Thank you so much. It is already 3:01, so I know, as we all learned today, we don't have a lot of extra time, so I won't hold you, but thank you so much for being here with us today. Kaya will be posting Chanie's socials in the chat if you do want to learn more about Chanie and about Schools of Excellence. Otherwise, Chanie, Happy New Year, and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. Be well. Take care.
Bye, Chanie. Thank you. Before we wrap up today, I just want to let everybody know that you will be receiving your recording, the show notes, and your certificate by early next week. So look out for an email from me. I will get those to all of you. And again, next week, next Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, we will be here again, and we are learning about 4 music strategies to boost school readiness. We're bringing back our friends from Learning Without Tears. I hope you can all make it next week. Otherwise, thank you so much to all of you. We had almost 750 of you here with us today. Amazing for our first webinar of 2022. Thank you so much to everyone for being here, and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next week. Bye.